Hey, everybody. The story of the day. This was a great day. June the 6th. I have made a bird friend by now. And I don't mean a friend who is a bird, I mean a friend who wants to go birding. A birder. We will be birding. I already said that one. That's kind of only so many ways that you could turn that into a verb. Anyway, we go out on a longer bird adventure. Super excited to do this. This was great. We show up early in the morning. We go out to a national grassland. And immediately, first thing right out the gate, we see a bird. As soon as we pull into like the pull-off spot, it's like, oh, what's that? And I got to admit, I don't know how I knew this because I said it. And my friend kept going, wow, you got that spot on like immediately. And I had no idea. We'd have to like look in the book and look it up. And I don't know why, because I can't recall for the life of me what made me say that, because I don't remember looking up at any point that the common nighthawk had white stripes along the wings and was this shape and general size. But right off the bat, I said it. I definitely went, oh, that's a nighthawk. Now, this day is supposed to be very hot, very sunny. We are both dressed like it for the heat, but it is cold and overcast and even raining in the morning. So these photos do not come out very well. The light is terrible. There's basically no light. They are what they are. But we get there, we go around the campgrounds, and we start looking. And the next thing we see also stumps us for a while, both of us, trying to look and see. Couldn't figure it out. I have no idea. This little bitty thing, saw it multiple times, saw it here first, and it's like, we got this little white stripe. We got a good look at it for a while, but this short, stubby tail, and it's mostly black, and it took off at one point, so it can fly, but it's got this little white speck to it there. No idea. No idea. I'd jump ahead. Later in the day, we visit the campgrounds at this national park or grassland. Then there is a birding tour that goes on for a while. We took that. We drove, it's like 20 miles that you drive. It takes hours and hours. There's a part all along that where we pull off and there's another car out there. We were letting them pass. They pulled in behind us anyway. Another group of birders. These ladies, very nice, from out of state, who were coming in looking for a lot of specific things. More on that later, but while we're there, my friend goes, Michael, show them the picture. Let's try to figure it out. Because we sat there on lunch, when we took our lunch break, pulled out the bird book and flipped through everything we could find, trying to find something that had that small tail. Could not figure it out. They identified it much quicker and went, oh, it's a baby grackle. Common grackle juvenile, the baby. They start out this way. I had no idea. First time I've ever seen a baby grackle of any kind. Didn't know the beak eventually grows out to extend to that kind of more grackle shape, because it's kind of short and stubby here at this point. I mean, it's thick, but it's, stubby lengthwise. And yeah, that tail confused me. I really don't know why I thought they had tails much sooner than, they've got all the feathers. This thing was flying about. Hey, learned a lesson. Very cool. Saw a bunch of things out there. One of them, we're just hitting the highlights here. I went into it for like 45 minutes on Patreon, fully identifying everything that we saw. But the nighthawk, I will say, is one brand new species for me. I'd never seen one before. I really wanted to see one. If only I could get a better photo of it because of the lights conditions. Another thing I'll touch on, not a brand new one, but really cool. At one point there was a box, a nesting box, with something that larger that had kind of flown in. Baby kestrels. I think babies. I can't really tell. I looked in the book, and the best that I could tell is that the beak eventually gets black all the way through, but they're little bitty. That, it's distorted as far as what you could tell because of the camera and the zoom and everything that's on there, but, that hole is not big. That is a small little hole with some very large birds in it. The box is fairly sizable, so maybe they were adults in there. This was another one, to be fair, I'll take credit for this. I did know this one right away because I could see those black vertical stripes. I think they're called mylars. I was telling another expert birder about this, and I think that is the term for that was there. But yes, that was easier to spot. So then we go on a bit more. I have two main goals for this day. In particular, we're going out into the prairie, the grasslands, that area. I haven't seen a particular bird since Wyoming, and I never really got good photos of it. So I was really hoping to see the horned lark. The horned lark. Not a good photo of it there, but that's the very first instance we saw. Then a little bit later, that's better. That's better. By this point, we have left the campgrounds. It is much later on in the day. It is a hot day out there. That is what we expected. Those clouds didn't stick around for too long. And then the heat came with it. It was in the mid to upper 90s throughout most of the drive as we went. There was a lot of needing air conditioning for sure in the car. But the horned lark was one that I was really hoping to see because I wanted a better photo of it. And this is better. I'm so happy about this compared to everything that I ever got when I was in Wyoming. This was great. There was one more bird that I was really hoping to see. I've seen the horned lark before. It doesn't count as a new species, but definitely I'm glad I got the photos of it. But when I was in Kansas, I talked about I was there, and we were driving to the location out to the farm that was there, and the guy in the passenger seat, because we had to carpool. I'm driving, and he said something about lark bunting, and I went, "Oh, I've never heard, never seen one of those. That would be cool." And he's like, "Yeah, well, they're there and there and there. They've been flying up this whole time, man. They're everywhere." But I couldn't stop to take a picture. I was driving. All I knew is that they were small. They were mostly black. They had white on the wings. Very cool to see at some point. And eventually, I did in fact see the lark bunting. Pretty far away for the first time to see it, but don't worry, we saw them much, much closer throughout the day, and even the females throughout the day. And boy, did we see a fair amount of lark buntings. I would say probably for every one lark bunting we saw three horned larks. And I would have to guess we saw no less than 300 to 400 horned larks over the course of this day. It was ridiculous. They were all over the place. So that was really cool. A lot of heat distortion by this point. Like I said, it's really, really hot out there, so kind of hard to see. But horned larks were doing this to keep cool. My assumption, based off of what I know, I did not look this up. I do not know this for sure, but they would often get there and then spread their wings out. And talking to those other birders was like, why are they doing that? Is to keep them cool. They're probably trapping wind under there in their feathers, and then they do that. I think that's a thing that birds do. I want to say that happened. I don't remember exactly, but we saw quite a bit of those lark buntings left and right. And even I will the going back to the horned lark that we saw. I saw a juvenile horned lark. Had to look that up with the white spots on the back. That's cool. Again, not a new species, but I'd never seen a juvenile before, so that's neat. But speaking of new species, eventually we would see some. The grasshopper sparrow. It's got the yellow to the crown there, and it even has a bit of yellow on the wings, I noticed. Pretty cool. Very cool. New species. Number 2. Number 3. Lark bunting. Common nighthawk, lark bunting, grasshopper sparrow. Excellent. Could we do more? Maybe. Maybe. Just maybe. A little suspect here. Not entirely sure. But given the location, and the date, and the fact that it's missing a lot of color from some of the other things, and the tail has just the barest bit of white, maybe. It is the only photo I got, unfortunately, that even remotely came out. But I think it's close enough for me to call it. I think this is a Cassin sparrow. They were out there. They're common to see. I mean, well, they're not uncommon to see. It's definitely possible to see them out there on this location. It was one of the ones they specifically mentioned on the, like, here's birds you could see here from the State Department that controls this area, that owns the land there. Cassin sparrow is definitely possible. And as I was looking in the book, it could be. It lacks a lot of the other things that could make it one of the others. So, slightly suspect, but I'm going with it. So I think that makes me 4 new species. Got some great photos of other things while we were out there, just in general. The lark buntings, the female, is more of a brown than a black and has this streaking and everything to it. They do the same behavior with the lifting of the wings so they can cool themselves. And then there were two more things that I saw. One, not much of a story, but really happy to report that I did see another common nighthawk while I was out there. Out on the post, just sitting there. They're so weird looking. I love them. It's amazing. just fantastic. This is really good because I didn't get to see one, and they look, you wouldn't really expect it. I mean, you see some white here and everything, but they definitely look different. I learned that they are also more commonly, I think a nickname for them is a bull bat, and you will see them with bats around the same bat-like behavior you'll see. I didn't realize that. Like, if you look up and you see bats attacking flies at night around lights, in shopping centers and, baseball fields and things like that, around the lights, you'll see that. And there would be one that I guess is bigger maybe, and it still flies erratically, but it's just definitely not a bird. It's not a bat, it's a bird. And apparently that's the common nighthawk. Something I didn't know and I learned. But there was another. And the final one that we really got to total out, I'll go ahead and tell you. Makes for the 5th new species in one particular day. Fantastic. Great day out. Had such a good time. The pair of birder ladies that we met while we were out there were telling us that they were there looking for 2 particular kinds of birds, like a bunch of new ones in general, but 2 in particular, and they were longspurs. And there was one that was more common to see, which is the thick-billed longspur, more recently renamed because it's called something different, named after a person that has now been renamed. And the book that they had with them was Sibley. So it was actually interesting to line it up going, well, hold on. The book that I have, that I keep in my car, the newest National Geographic, calls it something different, but it is the same bird. The thick-billed longspur. There's also the chestnut-collared longspur. That one's much more rare to see. Did not see it on this day, but we did see the thick-billed longspur, and I'll run through a couple of the photos real quick because there it is. We were at, I don't know, mile marker maybe 12 at this point when we met, when we both stopped and we talked for a little bit. Actually, it was great. There was a little story moment where, like, I have my vest now with everything. And one of the ladies there was like, oh, I have that same vest. That's great, isn't it? It's super useful for all these things. I've got mine that does this. And I mentioned it. And she was like, how does that work with getting the camera out and everything? Because she was, we were, going back and forth. We're talking about the different attachments and things. And I was trying to get it out. I was like, it's come loose today or whatever. And she's like, oh, do you have the Allen wrench, the special key that it comes with? I was like, I don't have it with me. She goes, come on back here. And like, almost like motherly, brings me back to the back of the car. Is like, here you go, keep it on there. Now keep that tight, young man. She did not say that, but like that was good. The way that it was the sweetest thing. It was amazing that she had it. I need to remember to bring it. I actually have a whole Allen Keats set, but I didn't have it with me because I keep it in the bag with all the video equipment because that's kind of more important realistically that I have that in order to tighten something down like in the field. So I just need to get another Allen key set so I can carry one in each bag because it seems to be harder for me to remember to move it between bags, and that's one less thing. Anyway, they were telling us about the longspur and how they had seen it like a mile or so back, right past the mile marker. Just head back there, look on the side. We were doing that. And I have to admit, we probably drove right past it and missed it because we had kind of gotten, stale at this point. It is hours and hours of just seeing hundreds of horned larks and lark buntings over and over that we stopped checking every single bird that we saw. So we turn around, we go back real slow, every single bird on both sides of the road, looking, finally see this one out there. And yeah, it's not the best photos or anything with this, but like it's the best that we could do. And you can tell, that's what the long spur refers to their feet. I don't think I can realistically zoom in enough on any of these to be able to see it because it just kind of turns to mush. The pixels, the heat distortion, the fact that it was far away, some things you just can't tell. But they're named that because of, I believe they have an extra long toe in the back, kind of a spur, I guess is what they call that. But yes. The thick-billed longspur did not see the chestnut collared at any point. Would have been nice to have seen, but we did see it there, and then I got slightly better photos right at the end as we were wrapping up with it in the grass. It is kind of hidden by some of the grass, but some of the last photos I got of the day before we continued driving were here of the thick-billed longspur. There we go. Great new day. A great time out, fantastic day, so many good photos, really happy with that, a bunch of new species, couldn't ask for better. And I quite look forward to going out more with my bird friend to see even more on big adventures and stuff like that.